What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Balance Show. We believe that the key to life is balance.
Finding the balance between discipline and freedom, ambition and contentment. The perfect balance is unique to each individual.
We are your hosts, Taylor, Chloe, and Steve, and we're here to help you find your balance.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Balance Show. Today, we have myself, my sister Chloe, her boyfriend Ari, my BF Tyler, best friend, not boyfriend, Tyler.
Could go either way.
And today we are talking all about our very first Balance pop-up shop in Vegas. So hopefully this podcast will be a little bit educational, entertaining, talking about our experience. And we're not saying we're experts because we've literally only done one, but if you guys are thinking about doing one yourselves, hopefully this gives you some insight and you don't make mistakes like we did.
Totally. We're going to dive into the planning process, the execution, and then just kind of go over the weekend as a whole, talk about the experience with our athletes, the things that went well, and the things that went very wrong.
Which isn't that long of a list. It went
really
well for a first pop-up.
Yeah.
All things considered, very smooth.
Yeah.
So there's things called fitness expos, and that is kind of my experience with going with different companies in the fitness industry. But we wanted to branch out from being the typical, I guess, bodybuilder, fitness-focused brand, and wanted to kind of do our own thing, bring our own crowd, and have our own community. And that's basically what we preach all the time. So we decided to do a pop-up shop in the same weekend as the Olympia, which is the biggest bodybuilding show. So we knew that there'd be some people attending, and we thought that Vegas would be the perfect first pop-up shop location because A, there's going to be a crowd of people in Vegas at the time, and then B, it's also a really fun place to just hang loose and really get to know the team and our leaders and all of that. So it was the perfect place.
This was the first time that many of our athletes were meeting each other and the first time that we've met or been able to hang out with almost all of them. So we thought it was a really good first, come out with a bang and first time to just explore together and have a good time.
Yeah, definitely. So we obviously didn't know where to start at all. I used to be a part of Gymshark. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's a big fitness clothing brand in the industry, and I've been to one of their pop-up shops, I think a couple years ago in LA, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. But we had no idea where to start. So we basically looked up agencies to help us online. And Ari, you can take it away from here because that was his main responsibility.
So backing up just a little bit, I think initially we thought about maybe doing it ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was, we had all these big ideas. We're like, oh, you know what? We'll just do it ourselves. Like, we'll figure it out. It can't be that hard, right? Well, after looking at agencies and having all these ideas, you start to realize how much you didn't consider.
Right.
I think on my first phone call, it's like, well, how many hangers do you think you're going to need? What do you want your vinyl graphics to look like? How many racks? How many mannequins? Male or female mannequins? And it's like, whoa, okay.
Security.
How
many cashiers do you want?
Yeah.
What POS system, point of sale system are you going to use?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we started that process how many months ago?
Maybe 4 months before the actual pop-up.
So we started 4 months before the pop-up, and as a growing company, you don't really know how many people are going to show up, how many customers you're going to have. You have no idea what to expect, so we just kind of had to guess.
Yeah, we were essentially guessing like how many square feet we need. What did we end up with? Was it like 1,500?
1,000 or 1,200, but
1,200
it ended up being
feet.
perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect for what we had, but you're just guessing at this point. And you just have to kind of go along and see how things turn out. You can do the best that you can at guessing, which is what we did. I think you can do the best that you can as far as marketing it and making the actual pop-up shop physically aesthetic, but you never know how many people are going to show up.
Right. So did you Google pop-up shop agencies, or how did that?
I think I Googled pop-up shop agencies. Like 4 out of 5 websites looked fake, like they were just going to steal your money. And then one out of New York looked super legit. We got on a phone call, and they seemed like they really knew what they were doing. They usually operate with like I think big companies like Mercedes and like just Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like a really experienced company. So that was reassuring. And I think every time any of us had a freak out, they're like, guys, it's okay. We'll figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't know what you're doing, ask somebody.
Right. For sure.
Hire
Who's
somebody
done
in
it.
this case. Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely saw some of the problems before we would have ever saw them
Yeah.
until we would have been there. Like
Totally.
foreseeing a lot of things, making sure we had enough cashiers, making sure we had a location set up, making
Yeah.
sure all the decorations tied together, like everything. It was
Yeah.
very nice.
And to be fair, Las Vegas is probably one of the hardest places to do a pop-up shop.
Yeah.
We had such a hard time finding a venue. So our top options came down to either the top of a casino hotel on a roof, which would have been so hot,
100 degrees.
100
110
degrees,
Oh,
or
and we would have to share that space with the hotel guests.
yes, so there would have been party people, maybe topless, you never know. It's Vegas. And they would have been just right across from our like tent. It would have
Yes.
been so
Awkward.
so unpredictable. And then our second choice was inside of a mall. And that actually turned out to be really great because it was air conditioned for our line of people standing out. And, there was a lot of benefits to it. But originally, I think we were like not too excited about either of the options. But just looking at Las Vegas's pop-up shop friendly areas, there was not anything.
No.
And for those of you listening, thinking about maybe running your own pop-up shop, Las Vegas is not a pop-up friendly city.
Not at all.
Not a good first time.
Yeah,
I
ours,
recommend against it for sure.
Yeah. It
ours
was
turned out
risky.
great, but there were definitely some uphill battles, especially on the real estate, like Chloe said. I mean,
Yeah.
we could not find a space.
Right. And even the space we had, like our pop-up was beautiful, but in the mall itself was
Oh God, it was a dying mall.
sketchy.
It was a dead mall.
Half
It
the
wasn't
stores were
dying.
closed.
Which
It
came
was-
in really convenient because the line, we could have all of our people lined up around
Yeah.
the whole mall because like all the stores were closed.
Exactly.
So
I was wondering why the
hindsight.
mall was being so nice, giving us like
They were
digital
so
billboards
pumped.
and
Yeah.
banners. And
They were like, thank God, get
Bring
some people in here.
business.
More people that have been there in years.
Totally.
People that lived in Vegas were like, so why are you doing it at the Boulevard Mall? We're like, honestly, it's the only space we
Yeah.
could get. Like, you can't get anything on the
Yeah.
strip unless you want to pay like probably 40 grand.
I don't think they
for
would
a
even
day.
let you do
I don't
it
know
for
if
a
they
day.
would, yeah.
That was the problem. They won't
Yeah.
even let you. You have to have like at least 3 months or something for
Oh,
a short-term lease.
Right.
Yeah. So we just
just
worked
wa-
with what we had.
Swung it.
And it
Swung
went
is
great.
the word.
Yeah.
Wait,
We winged it.
winged it. We
One
winged
thing
it.
talking about like
Winged it.
banners and billboards and stuff, you will need a graphic designer
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
Yes.
So how we found ours, if you guys are looking for one, I think my old assistant Tori went out on Indeed or like, is it monsterjobs.com or something like that? That's how she found our graphic designer, by the way, Morgan.
Oh, I
who
didn't
is
know that.
amazing.
She
And
is
now she's
amazing.
contracted to Balance, but
Yeah.
so don't steal her. But
For real.
No
no,
last
that's,
names. No
That's
last
how
names.
that's how we found ours.
Yeah, I think a graphic designer, once you get to that stage of your company, is huge because you can use that in so many different ways. For your marketing, for your Instagram, even just having professional looking stories and highlights and things can be a game changer for a brand online.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
shouts to Isla and Carly because their graphics game has been fire lately.
Yeah,
Oh my
totally.
gosh.
Yes, they've been killing it. Okay, so step 1, Google pop-up shop agencies. Find a legitimate one. Make sure that they're real because you don't want to be giving tens of thousands of dollars to this person, this agency. And then kind of just plan from there. You really want to have a vision before going into that planning stage. So what we did was take kind of our headquarters and how that looks. It's like very greenery and wood and white and very clean looking, and that's what we wanted to portray in the pop-up shop. So that was kind of our vision mixed with the brand new collection Aura.
Yeah, we
Totally.
actually we gave them those like Pantone codes and the patterns like months before Aura launched, and they were able to tie in some of those little details into the shop without it being overbearing.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
And then from there,
I think the next step is really just to figure out your location and the reason why. So like for us, like Taylor mentioned, we wanted to do it during the Olympia weekend in Las Vegas because we knew a lot of people that were interested in fitness were going to be there. You don't necessarily have to always plan it around
An event.
but it does help just because you know people will be in town. If you want to go, out of state, outside of your comfort zone, it is a nice way for your first one to know that people will be in that city. However, I think the next one that we do, we will just kind of do it independently.
Yeah, we've realized that balance stands on its own, which is a really good feeling, and we don't really have to plan it around fitness expos. We were debating between also the Arnold in Ohio, but when the Arnold is, it's March in Ohio, and it's literally so cold.
So cold.
And I mean, we don't want to go there at that time.
Yeah.
100%.
But we would have had a big crowd.
Yeah, totally. It would have been so much fun. But we found in this one that most of the people that we met had come from out of state, had traveled really far, and they weren't even going to the Olympia. They had just come for the pop-up. So now we have, the confidence and the knowledge to know we can do this independently outside of an event.
But maybe for your first one, whatever industry you're in, find an event that's big in your industry and maybe do it at the same location. That gives you a really good idea of how many people are going to show up, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's a good first way to do it.
And using an agency, it was super helpful because they gave us a budget, like an initial budget that was way higher than we were expecting. And we kind of talked them down and were able to negotiate certain things that we may or may not have needed down to a budget that fit our kind of what we were expecting. And we knew like 4 months in advance exactly how much this pop-up was going to cost for us. So we knew we could plan financially and creatively for the marketing side, but it gave us a lot of time and effort to build a plan that they kind of took off our plate.
Yeah.
And these things, for us, it wasn't really a way to make money. Like, we didn't want to do this to try and go there and sell all these clothes and try to make money. It was more of an outreach thing, a team thing, and you sometimes have to sacrifice funds to help your brand grow in that way.
So it was just mostly about connection between the balance team internally, between us and our athletes, and between us and our customers, most importantly. But you really are just paying for that connection and that opportunity, not really making it up in your sales.
Right.
And we found that with retail.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's physically impossible.
Yeah, we kind of
Right.
knew when we did the math on like if we had 3 cashiers versus 5 cashiers, like how many units we could sell. And it's not very many in a day.
No.
Even if you have 5 cashiers selling all day,
Yeah.
every day, like
Yeah.
you just can't do that much at a retail store
Yeah.
where you can online.
And it's crazy to look at that versus the sales that you can make online. Like
Insane.
It's almost unlimited. And as you guys know, unfortunately, we sell out every time. So we kind of are used to these really, really high volumes and then being limited by just physical space and amount of cashiers and those kinds of things was new to us. But it just reinforced the idea that, e-commerce is really the future. And it's the way that our business model really works is just to be selling online.
Yeah, I think that everyone here, plus Steve, has never really had the urge to do a retail spot. But for me personally, it really took this event to realize, I don't want a retail space. And that's something that I have been struggling with because I've wanted a retail space for so long. But this really taught me that what we're doing is perfect for our company and our goals. And I think that we should definitely continue to do pop-up shops. And that's where we should do like a retail, quote unquote.
Agreed.
And it's in that case, again, it's more about connection and outreach and getting to meet with our customers face to face. It's not about
Making money.
at that point.
And that's almost more like just an event versus
Yeah.
a pop-up shop at that point.
Totally.
It's just like an added benefit.
That you can buy the clothes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't who actually went there to just buy clothes and not interact with anyone. You know what
Okay, I
I mean?
will
People
say
so
there were a
true.
few people that I saw just bought their clothes and left, which
We're
is
totally
not
fine.
a problem.
Yeah, totally fine.
balance
But
fans.
there are some people who just wanted the clothes that bad.
That's a good feeling because
Yeah.
if everyone, all of our leaders, members, and influencers, and us went away, it's a good feeling that people still love our clothes because they love our clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
But people did spend way more time in the influencer line than they did the actual shop. Like they
Yeah.
came to
True.
meet people, to connect.
They just knew what they wanted. They grabbed it. They paid, and then
There were a couple that were just out.
yeah,
Gone.
yeah.
I did see that.
But we did have a lot of people. I mean, it was a really long line. Like when we got there, it started at 10.
Mm-hmm.
We got there at like 9:30, Taylor and I, but the team had been kind of setting up and
Since,
finishing
like,
up
7:30
since-
a.m.
Yeah, so they saw people starting to line up before they even got there. So by the time it started at 11, the line had wrapped all the way around the mall. It was a really long line.
Yeah, I wasn't like, okay, so Vegas is like Chloe said, a really hard place to do a pop-up shop. And so I didn't know how many people were going to show. Obviously I knew people were going to go, but I didn't know how many. So just to like see the text at 8 a.m. from the team being like, people are already lining up. It just like took away all of my insecurities and brought like this confidence in me
Totally.
that we can do this.
We were so nervous.
We were.
And
Yeah.
that's totally fair. I mean, imagine you guys like setting up this event, taking 4 or 5 months to plan it, and we have so much invested into it emotionally, financially. And then we're like, are people even going to come? This is kind of like a random location. Our fan
Yeah.
base isn't heavily in Las Vegas.
Right.
So we were nervous.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, speaking of planning for people to show up, let's talk about the app we used. Like, I think it was RSVPify, and getting numbers from there to try to like gauge how many people were going to show up. Well, nobody RSVPs to a free event.
Well, like, I mean, like we had how many? 600? 500 people?
No.
Like 250
We had like
maybe?
250
Yeah.
RSVPs.
Oh my gosh.
So going into it, we are like, oh my gosh, are 250 people going to show up?
Yeah, which I mean is a lot, but like for this event that we're planning and we're trying to make it so big, we're like so scared that
Oh, yeah.
250,
Yeah.
but it ended up being like 4 times that.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah, way more.
But
for sure.
if you don't incentivize people to RSVP, they probably won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you need a ticket, they're not going to
Yeah,
they're
RSVP
just
to your
not.
free
Yeah.
event.
So don't let that get
Note
you
to
down.
self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we do some kind of like ticket thing where, you know, they sign up, maybe their ticket is like their place in line. I don't know. But
Yeah.
just a way so we can have a better gauge of who's going to be there.
Maybe that's their
Next
entry
time.
into the raffle.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I think that
Something
would be a
like
good
that.
idea.
So advice for you guys, don't do what we did and do a free RSVP. 'cause
Yeah,
no
swipe-
one will
yeah,
RSVP.
that does it.
Yeah.
Swipe up to RSVP for no reason at all.
Just for us.
Exactly.
If you guys are planning an event, no matter what it is, be sure to just like stay confident in yourself and know that the things that are going to go wrong aren't going to be detrimental. They're going to be really minor. And for the most part, just like go into it having fun and know like that you've worked so hard for this event, because me going into Vegas, I was so stressed out that I was like on my way to my lash appointment, which I don't really get my lashes done. I called Tyler crying. I called Chloe crying. I don't know if I can sit through my lash appointment right now. It's an hour and I just can't. I'm gonna be thinking about all the things and I just can't do it. And she's like, Taylor, you're gonna be so happy if you just sit in there, get your lashes done, and you know, don't stress out. And so I get in there and she's doing my lashes and I don't know this girl. I'm literally crying on the table, and that is not me. Like, I don't cry
No.
like that.
Yeah.
I was so stressed
Overwhelmed.
out, and I think everyone was like,
The entire team, like the marketing side, the operations side, like guys, we had just had a launch, Harmony. We were going to this pop-up shop. We were getting all of our shipments in at once. We had to
3
separate it
shipments.
out. It was, I mean, our warehouse is jam-packed with boxes right now.
Yeah.
And we have to go to this pop-up, and then we know when we get back in like a week and a half after the pop-up, we have another launch and then another launch. And it's just like, this year, the second half of it has been so crazy, and leading up to the event, I think every single person on the team was so overwhelmed.
yeah. So our
Yeah.
advice to you is, if you guys can plan it to where you don't have a ton of things going on, I would highly recommend to do that, because if you are someone who deals with anxiety, panic attacks will happen 5 times a day.
Maybe on the lash table with someone you just met.
You never know.
Who's a part-time therapist?
Literally. She actually helped with my anxiety so much. She said sometimes the biggest release is to just cry and then it's gone. So anytime I would feel anxiety, I would cry and then it'd be gone. So if you guys struggle with it, there's a little tip for you in case you didn't know.
Yeah, you felt so much more relieved after that.
Yes.
And you had
You
these
guys-
beautiful lashes.
And you had beautiful lashes. They still came out.
No, they didn't. I had to get them done like right when we got back because you're not allowed to cry when you have lashes, apparently.
Well, the first day for sure not.
Well, yeah.
Or when they're like going on.
Right.
That might be like rule
That's a no.
number 1. When they're gluing them and you're crying.
They have no crying signs at the front desk.
So
If you need to cry, just get it out in the lobby, and then we'll solve all your problems.
Yes.
Let's talk
Number
now.
one.
Let's kind of switch gears and talk about things that we learned about doing our pop-up and things that we can hopefully help others through our learning
Yeah.
experiences.
Like, what will we do differently and better next time?
Tyler has one.
5 times as many dressing rooms. So
Yeah.
as a guy, I was like, we don't need any dressing rooms. Who's
Right.
going to come to a pop-up and try on clothes?
Everybody.
Everybody.
single
That was
girl
also
in
something.
there.
So we had 3, which I was like, that's way too many. No, we needed like 15.
Yeah,
So note to self, get a lot of dressing
A lot of-
rooms.
yeah.
Because that like slowed down our whole shop because people couldn't flow through because like everyone was waiting to try things on.
Yeah. So I do think because of that, because we wanted dressing rooms, we wanted obviously the space where our clothes could hang, you need a place where people can check out. And then a huge portion, took up like half of it, was the space where people can meet their favorite influencers and take pictures and have conversations.
Yeah.
So that requires more space. I think if we did it again, I think we would need at least like twice as much space.
Yeah.
2,000 to 3,000 square feet, probably.
Yep.
And the reason, okay, this was another big thing. Next time we will not do 2 different shifts because
Yes.
the first shift of athletes got this huge influx of people, but then the last half of the pop-up shop, it started trickling down
Towards the end.
towards the end. So these, the people that wanted to see the people in the second shift, the customers that wanted to see the leaders in the second shift, couldn't see them because they were so worried that everything was going to sell out. So they
Yeah.
came in the first shift. So next time,
Just one shift.
shift.
One
One
shift.
shift.
Bigger space,
One-
more people at the time at a time.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
goes for giveaways too. So, do you guys remember the giveaway that we did with the bags?
yes.
Tell
we
them
had,
about it.
So we had this giveaway, and we had 100 like gift bags. They had like stickers and I think some
Water
snacks,
bottles.
water bottles, all balanced stuff in this really cool balanced bag. And we thought, okay, what would be the most fair way to distribute these things so that everybody can have a fair chance since there's 2 shifts? Well, we decided we'll do the first 50 for the morning shift that started at 10, and then the first 50 people in line at the 1:30. Here's what really happened. So people lined up obviously in the morning. They got the 50 got theirs, and then the people that didn't get theirs of that morning shift just hung out, and they came back and tried to time how they could be the first 50 in line at 1:30. I
And
mean,
they
there were people.
succeeded.
Yeah, there were people.
They
there were
won.
people who would get up to me because I was the one like managing the lines, and I would say, "Okay, go ahead, go. You can go in." They were like, "No, I'm going to wait for a bag, so I'm going to go back in line so that I can be part of the first 50 at 1:30." So definitely figure out a better program for that.
Just the one shift, I think.
The one
solves
Yeah,
shift.
just the one
yeah.
shift.
Like you can't time it, you just have to be first.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of our biggest
That's hard
learning
though.
opportunities.
Like, how do
knew?
you know
you
to
just
do
don't
that?
know until
And we didn't have
you
the
know.
space to do one shift of
We didn't.
athletes. So
We
like
really
in
didn't.
that
No.
spot,
Could you
we had
imagine?
to do
Yeah.
even with 2 shifts, it was
Yeah.
so full.
And how many athletes did we have there? I think it was like 16.
Yeah,
And
about
some of them
16.
had significant others with them. So we needed quite a bit of space. So if you
Yeah.
have anywhere from, 8 to 16, just know that you're going to need plenty of space. I think you'll need 2,000 to 3,000 square feet.
And
Oh, yeah.
speaking about brands having influencers or whatever you want to call these people on Instagram, because some people get offended about influencer, make sure, I would say it's really important to have them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally. And not only to have them, but treat them like part of your family and like an integral part of your team because they are. You have to
Yes.
treat them with respect. And I think all of our athletes feel this way because they are constantly, reminding us, and it just makes us so happy to hear. But they just feel like we treat them like family, and that's the key. That's how you get people to, care about you as much as you care about them and about your business.
Yeah, I remember so many companies I've been a part of that didn't treat me very well, and it literally it made me want to create my own brand and treat influencers the way I wanted to be treated, because they are a huge part of the business. They're what creates the brand in general. So don't ever feel like it's a waste of money to bring these people out or to give them commission, because they're helping you grow your brand. Like, they're a huge part of your family. So I would say if you have your own brand, like, don't be selfish about this. 'Cause
Totally.
they're a
Definitely.
huge part of your business.
Yeah.
But I will say, on the other side of that, be very particular in the people that you bring into your family. They should be a good fit all around, not just people who you think have a huge following or people who you think will make a ton of sales. These people are those who represent you personally as well as in your business. So they have to be people who align with your values and the things that you want put out
Vision.
there, because they are then an extension of you.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah, and if I go on someone's page and they're wearing like a company that I really like, and their personal page is super unbecoming or like raunchy or just like disrespectful or whatever it may be, now my brain's like, okay, why are they a part of that company? Why did they let them be a part of their brand? And it
Definitely.
creates like a separation in what you say versus what you do.
Yeah.
Totally. We wanted to create this weekend and like create the best weekend ever for them, because we truly value our influencers. And I feel like that's where most brands like fail in a sense, because
Yeah.
they don't treat these people like real people.
Yeah. And they don't treat them like super valuable.
Yeah.
And we do.
Yeah.
So for just to give you guys an idea, like, we stayed at this beautiful hotel in Vegas, and every single person, no matter where their ranking was on their performance or whatever it may be, everyone stayed at this beautiful hotel. Everyone was treated like royalty, and we just took care of them for the weekend. And they do so much for us that it's really not so much to ask
Right.
to return the favor. And it just ended up being literally the best weekend of our
The
lives.
best.
I don't know how we'll top it.
So about the weekend itself, first of all, I just want to say, like, everyone here, like in our company, we're pretty healthy. We're not big partiers. All of our leaders, members, and influencers, pretty healthy, not very big partiers. So going out and staying up till 5 a.m. to watch Drake play was really crazy for us, but it was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Let's take them through like the itinerary.
Yeah.
Like, so we all get there. The internal balance team, we go and we set up the pop-up shop. We had 2 people, shout out to Brandon and Anthony, who drove our inventory there so that we had absolutely no mess ups with shipping, just having it there. We brought it there by hand, basically. So we all set up the day
In a
before.
U-Haul.
Yeah.
12-hour drive in a U-Haul.
Yeah, there and back.
Yeah, just heroes.
Yes. And so we get there, we set up, and we go home. And I think we went out for dinner that night.
Yeah, so
some
we
of
had
us.
a private event at Tao nightclub. We had all of our employees and our leaders and their like significant other or their +1 to this amazing, yummy dinner. That was night 1,
Night 1.
getting ready for the pop-up shop.
And that was the first time. So that's when we brought our leaders to that dinner. For anyone who doesn't know, we have kind of tiers of our influencers. It just kind of depends on performance and the length that you've been in the company.
But our leaders are our top tier athletes, and when you are a leader, you have some benefits. So you get full paid photo shoots, you get the entire collection, you get to go to every event. So the leaders were the people that we took to the dinner.
And this was the first time that we met a lot of them. It was so much fun. I think everyone just connects so well. Like, everybody is on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And it was so cool to see everybody interact this weekend. So we had our dinner. It was awesome. And then we went home and slept for the pop-up. However, there's one person who didn't go home. And that was Danielle, because it was her
Oh my
birthday
God.
weekend. So
She's a savage.
She went to Chippendale or
went to
something.
She went to
Magic
Magic
Mike.
Good
and
for her.
she was up so late. She's wildin'.
Okay.
She was a second shifter though.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
She
She
had to
smelled
sleep.
like she had a good time that night. I love Danielle. Okay.
She's amazing.
So we get up, we have the pop-up. It's from 10 to 5, and that was an incredible experience. We get to meet all of you guys. We get to be around the entire team. It's just like gives me the feels to think about.
Yeah. I feel like when we leave when we left that pop-up, we were just like so inspired because we all kind of realized like, okay, we really are making an impact on real people. Like these are people that we are seeing now face to face who are telling us how we've impacted them in some way. And that was like the most incredible experience.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah, we left feeling very, very inspired.
Yeah.
And we got home.
We got home and we got ready to pregame. We had a big pregame full of everyone in Steve and I's room, so that was really fun.
Super fun.
And then we headed to the club. We got a big table at the nightclub. I think it was like, what was it called? XS?
Yeah,
XS.
XS, because Drake was gonna be there.
And
we were so
Champagne Poppy.
Champagne Poppy.
But so this is a funny story because we were going through security and they're so strict at these clubs. This man, the security guard, looks at my ID and looks at me and literally 30 seconds keeps doing it, and he hands me back and he was like, that girl ain't that ID. I'm like, yes, it's me. I swear. I look like I'm 5.
This is
and
my table. Let me in.
Could you imagine?
Oh my
Hi guys,
God.
I'm going back to the room.
I actually can't get in.
That was wild. And our table location was awesome.
Prime.
Yeah.
We were literally right, so close to the stage, the best view.
Yes.
It was so much fun. He came on at like 3:30 in the morning, guys.
3:30.
Vegas time. So what is that? 5:30 Indiana? Or we're not in here.
Oh, God.
5:30
That's
Denver time?
4:30 Denver.
You guys, it was
It was a late night.
but it was so fun, and it was also Tyler's birthday and Danielle's birthday. He's one of
Best
our leaders.
birthday.
And
So
Tyler and
amazing.
Danielle clicked so much. They became
Yes.
literal best friends in one night. I'm like summoning Tyler to come over to talk to him.
He's busy.
I say like one sentence to him. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Danielle now.
Oh my
We had
God,
the
I
best
love
night.
that.
It was our birthday night.
Yeah,
I mean,
we had them come out, like the bottle girls. They came a few times, but the third time they came with like a thing that said happy birthday and like all these like fireworks.
it was insane.
And Danielle and Tyler were crying. They're
Yup.
like, this is the best birthday ever.
We peaked in Vegas.
Honestly, you can't top it.
No,
You can't.
Downhill from here.
it's 100% downhill.
I think Danielle is a
my
guaranteed
gosh.
good time if you take her anywhere.
She
Oh,
is
yeah.
so much fun.
She was
She's
dope.
awesome. She's
love her.
She's as cool, if not cooler, than she is on Instagram.
I think cooler.
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 She's
Although her try-on hauls are pretty
She's,
legit.
it's like that all the time.
Yeah.
True.
Around Danielle.
she's awesome.
True.
She's awesome.
This is just basically a podcast about Danielle.
Yeah. We would just like to hype up Danielle.
That'll be episode like 15. We'll make one just about her.
Yeah, for real.
I love
So we did that. Tyler,
it. He goes,
first of all, okay, I don't know where to go with this, but
So, it's about, what, 5 in the morning? What time is it? 5 in the morning.
I was pissed off. I wanted to get home.
We all got to get home at this point. Champagne Poppy just left the stage. All the smiles disappeared. We're ready to get home. So I turned to Ari and I'm like, he has left his body. He's on autopilot. And he's like, I gotta go home. And so we run out, we get in the Uber. Long story short, he almost pukes in the Uber. We have to jump out of the car and walk the rest of the way. So this poor man is puking until 7 in the morning. And we have to go to the pool party the next day and be up at 9 to go.
We had to leave at 10:30 to
So-
be on the bus.
Right.
The thing about that is,
We didn't eat dinner.
I told your ass.
hey,
I told your ass.
we didn't
Come
have.
on, spit it out.
Hey,
She did.
I didn't have
She
dinner.
did say that.
Didn't have any
Didn't
dinner
have
at all.
any dinner. Neither
B,
did I.
when
Let's
when
tell 'em
Champagne Poppy is at the club, you drink champagne.
We drank so much.
Oh my
So much
Dom,
champagne.
guys.
It was this
Maybe too
glow in
much
the dark
champagne.
Dom
the
Perignon.
limit we had at our table was so stupid that I'm like, if we drink all this alcohol, all of us, all 30 of us, we're gonna die.
Yeah, we did. We start just throwing bottles at people. Take it, please. You get a bottle.
It was a rough night for your boy.
We had a lot of champagne.
But a great
and-
experience overall.
You know what?
Yeah.
Steve we went home and Steve was livid at Ari because
So
Ari
mad.
he thought Ari just left with Chloe and we're trying to get everyone home and he's like, Ari left us. I'm so mad. He goes to sleep. He's like, oh, I'm so mad. And then we wake up and Chloe tells me the story and I was like, Ari's been puking. He's like, oh.
He's like, I don't even know why I was
Oh,
so mad.
He sent me a couple of mean text messages, and then the next morning I called him. Or I can't remember if I called him. I was like, "Yo, dude, I don't know why you're so mad at me, but I was gonna throw up in the club." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I don't know why I was mad either. It's okay. It's all good.
So,
okay."
so we actually do make it onto the party bus.
Well,
At
funny, wait, hold
10:30
on.
a.m.
Before this,
Wait,
Tyler wakes up, I guess. He told me this like the other day too. He's like, I guess I woke up and me and Danielle and her friend went to go eat at some restaurant. I woke up with a full sandwich in my bed and like not even eaten.
What? Wait, tell them about when Tyler came knocking at your door. Tell them, please, Tyler.
Oh my God. So Taylor's room was pretty big. It was like a suite, so we could have like a pregame and meet everyone there. And it had a doorbell. So like you could just ring this doorbell instead of knocking because it was so big, like it would sound out through the whole thing. And she was on the 56th floor, which is a pretty good floor. But when you're very hungover and have slept like 3 hours, 53 also sounds like a good floor. And so I showed up on 53 I was at like 10 a.m. It was like before like we were even leaving. And
Yeah.
I'm just ringing this doorbell. Like, why are they not coming for like a minute? And then this lady comes to the door and was like in her like robe and was like, you have the wrong room. And I was like,
Oh, the wrong room.
and I look like I got hit by a bus already. And I'm like,
In your daddy hat.
okay. And I just walk my ass back to the elevator and go up a couple floors and
Jeez, that's
you win
a rough
some, you
start
lose
to the
some.
day.
Oh, it was all L's that day.
But
I told this is a thing about Angelica. This is Angelica, Chloe's assistant, her like second week with us, and she was a boss. I texted her in the morning, or no, she texted me and she was like, hey, do you want to get buses for everyone? And I was like, sure. And I was like, do you have everyone's numbers? She's like, no, but I'll figure it out. She was like calling everyone's rooms. I was like, wow,
Jeez,
that's awesome.
she was on it.
She was on it.
She got us all onto the party bus.
Somehow.
Brought coffee. Hello. And we all just like came back to life. Everyone looked like a zombie getting on, but getting
Well,
off.
I was talking to Christina's husband, and he was like, yeah, we're going to the pool. I was like, yeah. I was like, are you ready to drink again? He was like, do you hate yourself?
Yes.
True. It is Vegas. When in Vegas.
Yeah.
I think we all hated ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but-
for like a week after, like I still kind of hate myself.
But that's the thing at these, like, that we had a table the night before and then a cabana the next day. And in Vegas, the limits on that, like the amount of alcohol that you have to order. And it's not just alcohol. At the cabana, we could order food. So we ordered like 7,000 chicken nuggets.
Oh,
like,
and they
but
were
on the real,
life changing.
so good.
They were bomb.
300 chicken nuggets.
yeah. So we
Like, for
canceled,
real.
we got half of it and then we canceled the rest because
Give
we were
us
like,
waters.
that is so much chicken. But they were so good.
Oh,
So
that
they brought
saved
us
me.
back to
Yeah.
life.
French fries.
Oh,
Cool.
some greasy
If you
food.
guys like, if you guys are trying to do an event with your company, like we did, we would recommend probably going the pool party route because people can like lightly drink and have fun, but still talk to each other. Whereas the nightclub, no one can talk
You
to each
can't,
other
yeah.
unless you're screaming.
Except for
Right.
the person like right next to
Yeah.
you. And then you can't really move
You can't
either.
really
So
get
like
to
you're
know
stuck
people.
talking to the person
Yeah.
next to you, which was Danielle for me. So that was a small win.
So-
But
But we definitely learn, like, when you're having events with people and you're trying to,
Get to know 'em.
get to know people and let them get to know each other, the best times are if they can actually talk, if you can lightly drink.
yes,
Like
the
champagne,
pool party
right.
was so much more casual.
It was so casual, and it was literally the best day of my life. I had so much
Agreed.
fun.
Yes.
And I think everyone felt that way. It was so
Yes, It
fun.
was so fun. We stayed from 10:30 to like 7 or 6.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
because like the chain smokers went on at like 4. And we were there at 10:30.
We didn't even
But
11.
all of
about
us,
it.
we were all so deep in like conversation and
Yeah,
having
like,
fun
it
that
could
we
have been
didn't even
anybody.
know. Yeah, could have
Like,
been any DJ
yeah.
ever.
Literally.
We were like, oh, I like this song. Oh,
Yeah.
they're actually here playing it.
Yeah, it was
Anyways,
crazy.
what were you saying? It was so much fun.
Yeah, that was our weekend, and then everyone went home on Monday, and we did samples with one of our
I thought I was gonna die.
manufacturers for like 4 hours. And what we have coming this year is cray cray. So
Crazy.
stay tuned.
Amazing.
It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
I think after this event, everyone has like such a better family feel for this company than before. Like we all got to know each other, and this is honestly just the start of something so big. Like we plan on doing pop-ups at least twice a year all around the country, because also getting to know you guys and like speak to you guys in person is so big for us. So we were really grateful to do this event, and if you guys have a company, we highly recommend to do something like this because it's really valuable.
Yeah.
Totally. So we wanted to wrap up this podcast by just kind of summarizing the biggest things that we learned and the biggest things that we would advise you to focus on if you're trying to do anything that's similar. So, guys.
And again, we are not like
Totally.
we're gonna listen to this podcast in a year and we're gonna be like,
Why knew nothing.
We knew
Yeah,
nothing.
seriously.
You know
Yeah.
nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah.
And Tyler's sick.
Was that a backfire?
So shook.
What happened there?
So we are not experts, but after our first one, here is some things that you guys should know.
Should we go around the table and everybody can like pick their top one?
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not starting.
Okay, I'll start. So I'm just going to kind of reiterate what we said before about our athletes. Obviously, that was just such a huge focus for us for this weekend. So make sure that you're planning events where your athletes, as well as you as owners and as your internal team, where you can all get to know each other and form really deep-seated connections, and just choose events and form events that you can actually talk and get to know each other. That's huge, and that was one of the biggest values outside of meeting our customers. That was one of the biggest values of the weekend. So make sure that you're always considering both and not just one or the other.
Yes, 100%.
It's a hard act to follow. No, Chloe, that's definitely by far the number one, like building those like relationships and community and just creating an overall great experience for everyone. I think from my side personally, it's if you don't know something, either find the resource to learn it or hire somebody who is a professional, especially when the stakes are high, like a pop-up. I mean, if you want to get on a workout routine, you need to go find a resource if you don't know anything. You don't want to just be like running in place doing jumping jacks.
I like that one.
I guess you could start there.
Good
But
analogy.
but just don't let your pride or ego keep you from hiring somebody or being willing to learn.
Love it.
Totally.
I would say from our perspective, the layout and like the flow was huge. We had it all drawn out on a piece of paper. It all looked good. And the day we showed up there in Vegas, we were like, nope, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Had to move the cashiers. We moved it like 5 different times from the dressing rooms. And I think we finally nailed the layout and flow, but that was really key for people flowing really well through the store and through the athletes that we thought we had nailed before the pop-up, but it ended up day of, we had to change it.
Yeah.
Because it was so different once we were there.
Flow is so important when you have that many people waiting in line and then coming in.
Definitely.
And that also is important from a security perspective, because when you have kind of these, what's the word, like high profile people in there, you have a room full of them, it's really important to make sure that it's secure
Safe, yeah.
and safe for those people. It's your responsibility. So flow, even just from a security aspect where you can see every single person that walks in the door and walks out, that ties in there.
Definitely.
And from a theft perspective,
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
people going in one direction during the pop-up. We didn't let anybody go backwards.
Yep.
My thing is, if you guys want this to be like the most successful event, don't be afraid to market it every single day. I think that's something that we probably should have done a little bit better, but like we said, we had so much on our plate that I think that we got a good hold of it the last 3 weeks, but maybe try marketing it every day for like 2 months. That way you just hammer people on the head about it, because even when we were there, I was getting DMs like, oh, you have a pop-up shop? I was like, girl, where have you been the last 3 months when I've been shouting this out? So there's no such thing as marketing too much for your own event. And so don't be afraid to do that in like really nice graphics and talking about it personally on your story or the company's story. And yeah, that's my thing. Market, 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 market.
Yeah, I think if I could go back, I think we would do more physically talking on the stories,
Yes.
because we did a lot of graphics,
Yeah.
which are important, but I think you also need like
Personal
your
touch.
face
Yeah.
speaking on it, and that's when people are really going to be invested and more interested.
People don't always read.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
We know that
Yeah.
for sure.
So if you have a video, they'll listen or read. You'll have it both on the screen. Text.
key.
or
Maybe a
voice.
subtitled video so they can do both.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that wraps up this podcast. We really wanted to talk about this and our experience, and we hope that it was valuable to you guys for hopefully your pop-ups, or just hopefully this was entertaining.
Yeah, we had
if nothing.
Right. We had so much fun at the pop-up. It honestly couldn't have gone better for
Could
our
not
first
have gone
time.
better.
And me and Tyler keep saying that exact phrase. Couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun in so many ways. But yeah,
Yeah, I think that there's still so much to learn, and we're never gonna nail the perfect pop-up shop or perfect event. But doing your first one, like, don't be afraid. Just do it. There's no perfect time. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you guys have any ideas or topics that you would like us to cover, please DM us at The Balance Show on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of us. If you're listening to this episode, let us know. Give us a shout out.
Give us a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe.
All
You
the
can't
good
thumbs
stuff.
up. You can't thumbs up a podcast, can you?
Ooh, I don't know.
Good cue.
Hypothetically,
Good cue.
hypothetically, you can, you know.
Yeah,
this is
we'll
good.
take it.
Yeah.
DM us a
Thumb
thumb.
up in your. All right, we love you guys, and we will see you in the next one.
Thanks, guys.
Ciao.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.